Google Cloud Platform, whenever you are going to create any virtual machine, so machine type is the very key configuration. With the base of machine type configurations, your application, use case scenario are met, and the Google Cloud also apply charging cost, how much cost you have to pay. So whenever you are going to create virtual machine in Google Cloud, be carefully choose machine types. So the nature of applications for which we are going to create virtual machine can be different. So due to that, Google Clouds, what did they have allow different types of machine. You have to choose what your use case in your application, what kind of machine type required. Okay. So due to that, I'm going to talk little bit about the machine type family. So you should aware. So as talk, GCP provides wide range of machine type to accommodate the various workload and requirement. So this is the be clear, the machine types you are going to choose are decided depend upon your requirement and what kind of applications you are going to deploy. Then you have needed different types of machine. So machine types can be categorized into the families, series, and types. Okay. So whenever you are going to create the virtual machine on the Google Cloud, and you notice that whenever you are uh, predefined lots of machine types available, and we have some series. And what the meaning of series we're going to talk, so that you should know the terminology and pattern the way Google Clouds decided to provide the machine type for the different requirement, different use case. Some applications are the general purpose application. Some application might be required very large data storage, means ki large stuff storage size. Some application might be you are building that required the very high number of CPU to do calculation, run algorithm, run batch job, something. So depend on nature of your applications, you have to choose the machine types while creating virtual machine. In general, if I'm talking the machine type family, high level categorizations of machine type based on their architecture, performance, and pricing. Okay, so all the machine types which preset as predefined by the Google Cloud on the basis of architecture, because machine type somehow follows some uh, hardware part like memory, so which different types of memory, CPU, different types of CPU, what kind of a cores, there are different cores types. So whatever the your virtual machine are going to decide, this is the key parameter, what is their architecture and what kind of performance this machine. And apart from this, you have to consider how much price you have to pay to Google Cloud if you are going to creating virtual machine for this type. So mainly you can talk five machine type family in the Google Cloud, but not five. You have lots, but these are because mostly we are going to the build machine. maybe some N1 series and some C2 series and M2 series. That means this is general purpose machine. This is a compute intensive machine. This is the very high storage kind of machines. So let's talk a little bit about this family. Okay. And second, whenever we are going to talk machine series, the machine series is a subset of machine type within a family that share the same characteristics, such as CPU, architecture, memory, storage. The machine series typically are donated the naming conventions which Google Cloud decided. There are some letters and prefix number or number suffix like here letter could be N, M, C, and second either your letter means N1, N2, N3, M1, M2. So these are the naming convention generally Google Cloud follow to defining predefined machine types. And after that, say, hey, this is the standard series, or this is the high CPU series, or maybe storage series. Depend upon the your memory and the CPU and storage. This series can vary. Okay. So let's talk machine type. So machine types is a specific instance types that define the number of CPU, memory, and storage. So whenever you can say machine types, always be consider the three parameter: your the number of virtual CPU you want, the number of memory, the application required to run, and how much storage you want in memory storage, disk storage, and what for your VM machine. These are three key parameters in the any cloud provider you can say. But GCP more focus. You just tell us your number of virtual CPU, number size of your memory, size of your storage. These three key parameters is make a differences with the costing and pricing. The machine types is generally donated by the combinations of family, series, and types. So you can say here, this is a standard example, maybe uh, N1 series. This is a standard machine, and notice this is the one. One represent your number of virtual CPU. The one virtual CPU, 3 GB RAM, and 30 GB storage. There's generally three key parameters: CPU, RAM, or storage. So here maybe N2 is N2 high CPU. That means here there is a 16 CPU, the 16 virtual CPU and 60 GB RAM and 160 GB storage. Okay, so in naming convention, generally whenever you talk about this is the compute intensive and this is the standard machine and this is the 8 number of virtual CPU. So 8 number of virtual CPU, 32 GB RAM and 160 GB storage. Okay, so this kind of naming convention generally we have to choose. Okay, and three key parameters for any machine type: your number of virtual CPU, number of and size of your GB, number of GB you required RAM, and the storage, a disk you can say. If you and talk in one family in detail, excuse me. So this is the general purpose machine types suitable for the most workload such as a web server, database, small scale computing applications. So generally, general purpose machine types are mostly you can say used that can serve our application requirement. If your application is not designed for very specific use case or particular scenario. So you can the general purpose machine types have almost all the series. But here, for some example, like N1 is standard 1, N1 is standard 2, N1 is standard 3. That means now one virtual CPU, two virtual CPU, three virtual CPU. Similarly, RAM varies 3 GB, 7 GB, 15 GB. Storage varies 30 GB, 60 GB, 120 GB. So these are the pre-defines the combinations of this N1 family series. Similarly, you could talk about the N2 family series. Generally, they are more focused high performance machine type, designs the compute intensive workloads such as scientific simulation, data analytics, machine learning. So where you required like two CPU virtual CPU, four virtual CPU, or 60 virtual CPU, and similarly according to the number of RAM and combinations of your storage. Similarly, N2D kind of a family where you are going to talk high performance machine type with a high memory to CPU ratio. So sometimes your memory and the CPU ratio would be a particular ratio we want, right? So those N2D family are suitable for workload require the large amount of memory, say in-memory database or big data processing. Such kind of application you have to think what the ratio between your memory and the CPU. Okay, and similarly, you can also decide high memory or standard applications. So you can select like N2D high memory and the 60 GB, 60 virtual core CPU, 160 GB RAM, 160 GB storage. So permutation of combinations you have to choose on the basis of your applications. Similarly, kind of a C2 family. So C2 family, again, a high performance machine types with a high CPU to memory ratio. Now, where you want to, what combinations of high CPU and the corresponding the memory, what is the ratio? So this is designs for the compute intensive workload that required high number of CPU performance such as a scientific simulation, data compression, or any applications where you require the lots of multi-threading kind of concept, and each threads are doing very highly computing works, calculation work, algorithms work. Like for the scientific, lots of mathematical formula or complex algorithms we are running. For those scenario, you require a high number of CPU. So those scenario you can say, hey, high CPU to memory ratio, and again C2 series also you have to choose the with the number of CPU, RAM, and storage. But you are focusing only for this scenario. Compute intensive means your application required mostly the CPU capacity processing to meet the performance of your application. Similarly, M1 family is also memory optimized, you can say, where memory optimized machine type with high memory to the CPU ratio. Now here more focus are memory part, like a suitable workload that required large amount of memory, such as in-memory database, big data processing, something. So generally we can go the M series or M1 series here, and here we more focus are your RAM memory are generally nowadays implementing caching, CDN. You require such a server that need large in memory. Okay, so that our systems are quickly response to the customer, to the request or response, you can say. So those scenario generally we are going to take as a memory intensive or optimized. So you can say this family, you can think in a different way as well as like a use case like this is general purpose machine, or you can say storage optimized machine, or you can say compute optimized machines, or memory optimized machine, or accelerated optimized machine. Okay, the different permutation combinations, you can talk series wise n1, n2, n3, or just use case wise. Hey, this is the use case. So for this, what kind of a memory series we have, and you can select. Okay. If you talk general purpose, again the machines types, this is a basically kind of balanced performance versus the price across the wide range of machine type, maybe N4, N2, N2D, N1, different series. If you want to your consistently high performance for the variety of workload, maybe you again C4A, C4, C3D, or sometimes day-to-day computing at a lower cost. So we have also one series, E2 series. Okay. Similarly, I say you can just check out the Google Cloud documentation. They have a lots of series, not just NCM, E2, M2, and different. Let's see, you are going for the very high graphical processing, or very complex algorithm processing that might be required GPU kind of memory. So where we have to think different series available. So generally, best per core performance slash cost scale out load. So we have a different kind of series, T2 series, T2A series. So so you cannot cover everything, but because notice in this our software industries, different nature of software businesses running on. So surely public cloud providers purpose is that not just serve the services to specific business or domain. This is a public means any across the world, any kind of business, any kind of customer can request services. So due to that, Google Clouds also provide the variety of series machine types, different use case, different application, the different nature of resources or virtual machine you require. If you, so again, so these are the general purpose machines. Generally, if you talk about the N1 series or N2 series, any, but balance performance and cost for the general purpose machines. And if you talk the balance means CPU, balance memory and storage, and suitable for again web server, database, and enterprise applications. Whatever the general purpose machine is suited for almost many applications with the help of optimize cost. And if you go to the storage optimized machine family, is suitable for workload are low core usage and high in storage density. Right? Means here our CPU consumption or CPU ratio can be required less, but the story memory they want to store like you are receiving any IoT device or any something must continuous data receiving. Are you going to store data, store data? So where storage is required too much high. So for those maybe J3 series kind of a very useful to scale out analytic workload, flash optimizing database or other any database related where the you are going to store more and more data. Your application is the data centric. They are receiving lots of data from the different source of input source. We have to manage the data source and do lots of analytics on that. So for those kind of scenario, you have to think your application is the nature of storage optimized. So we have to choose be carefully machine types with a storage optimized machine like uh, or you can say maybe other N1 series that we have to our N2 series again. So storage intensive workload, maybe data analytics or large database, and basically criteria. Key point is that high storage capacity and throughput. That means you want your application can store huge volume of data with a high throughput, quickly throughput, right? And suitable for again big data, large database, and storage sensitive workload, right? So, excuse me. Similarly, sometime you have to go for the compute optimize kind of virtual machine, right? Instances. So in this scenario, you have to think compute instances require the high performance kind of a computing or CPU or core. So you can say compute optimized virtual machine offer the high performance per core are built an architecture utilize the feature of non-uniform memory access or optimal reliable uniform. That means here whatever the CPU you are selecting, they required very efficient CPU and high number of CPU events so that multi-threading multiple works are going to perform. So because in this application, your application continuously going to do some calculation, loop, condition checking, some large kind of expression they are going to evaluate or calculate. So those scenario you have to require our virtual CPU that's are very effective to do very fast performance or execution of your instruction, expression, or algorithms. And thus machine types are machine types are compute intensive workload, just like many scientific simulations or big data processing, you can say. So again, here the key point is that high CPU to memory ratio and suitable for a scientific application, simulation, data processing, medical image processing. In those scenario, you have to think very high number of CPU and very quick uh, ex, time to solve or express or execute the instructions or expression. There are two kind of one is the storage optimized where you want to store large amount of data, but sometime you want to not storage in memory for our applications are very quick response. So those scenario you have to think about the memory optimized machine. So this is a memory intensive workload offering more memory per code than other machine family, maybe terabyte memory. Some are the maybe good example in the case of your caching application, CDN application, DNS applications. You need a serve customer requests as quick. This is only possible whatever the customer data requesting that come still in the in memory means RAM, so that our application quickly respond. They're not going to read data from the disk or storage. That will take a uh, extra amount of time. That is the again performance bottleneck for my application. So such application we you cannot compromise the performance. So those kind of applications are scenario where you think our machine type would be memory optimized, means ki high number of RAM you required. Again, you are going to memory intensive workload such as in-memory database and the data process. Again, here your key point would be memory to CPU ratio, and this is the very suited for the in-memory database like maybe a memory store, Redis, Memcache, these kind of applications where they required lots of in-memory for the data processing or memory intensive. Such application, you think our machine type would be memory optimized machine. And sometime you want to nowadays learn artificial intelligence, machine learning, yeah, high performance computing. So those scenario you are going to GPU kind of CPU. We have to attach GPU, graphical processing unit, something. Means the idea is massively parallelize computing processing. Means ki massively parallelize the compute unified devices architecture, compute workloads such as machine learning, high performance computing. This scenario, this kind of accelerator optimized machine you have to choose, and they have a basically uh, designs for a workload that require specialized GPU, TPU, different kind of processing capability you have to add. Okay, and then you have to again use the maybe series again, two accelerator, four accelerator, or even eight accelerator N2 series, and these are very optimized GPU, and accordingly you have to pay cost. Cost is also very high, suitable for a machine learning, artificial intelligence, scientific any simulation, a really high compute instant workload for your applications where the big processing you are doing. So those scenario, these can optimize machine health. Okay, you can say lots of things we have to Google Cloud. What say ki first they decided, uh, they think mostly almost whatever the nature of business currently going on in the industries and what kind of a machine type required. So they provided the preset machines. Those are predefined combinations of your machine. The predefined machine type has a preset number of virtual machine amount and amount of memory and storage. If our application requirement is served by the existing permutation of your CPU, memory, and storage. That's good because they Google's have a uh, provide the combination with the cost effectiveness so that your cost can be minimized. Okay, and this predefined sometime this predefined virtual machine configuration is not meet our need, then we go with a custom number of virtual machine amount and storage. Okay, so you can say Google support custom type configuration as well. That means ki some application you required a number of X number of virtual machine, X number of CPU, X number of RAM, X number of your storage you can do. So Google support both predefined or preset machine types or custom machine type. You have to be carefully choose because now whenever you are going to do custom, look the cost, what kind of a pricing you have to pay for the Google Cloud, because now this is your responsibility. You are going to choose the number of CPU, the number of RAM, the number of size of storage. Okay, so please be carefully choose. Okay, and in the several these many kind of use case are scenario application where custom types are required, like sometime you say ki whatever the pre-defined machine set by provided by the Google Cloud may be costly for you. So make you can also optimize cost according to the your reducing. Sometime you can reduce memory, storage, or CPU, and somewhere resource intensive workload, or maybe there you have some maybe legacy applications which you are thinking to migrate from your infrastructure to the Google Cloud, and in those scenario whatever the pre-configured machine you have used same configurations, number of CPU, number of RAM, number of storage device you want. So generally this compute custom machine types are very suited, good choice if you have a legacy applications, legacy servers running, and you don't want our customer can be uh, go to the different kind of experience if you change the processing and machine types or time. So those scenario you can say custom type machine is a good choice. But please be carefully note now you have putting the ratio between the number of virtual CPU size in the RAM and storage. So according to you have to well aware the pricing, what the cost you have to pay to these type machine. Okay, and if you want to find out the all kind of a series, uh, what kind of machines, because they're very big list, surely we cannot I cannot cover everything, but surely you have to whatever the workload you are going to what kind of applications you are using, you have to just go hey all whatever the machine types we discuss, general purpose machine, storage optimized machine, compute optimized machine, memory optimized machine, accelerator optimized with lots of things, and GPU CPU platform, everything here available. You go and launch if you detail series like what high CPU machine, standard, high memory machine, mega memory, hyper memory, ultra memory. So lots of permutation combinations we have to and discuss. Okay, and if you want to different categories, if a general purpose machine have a different kind of category, N1 series, C2 series, E2 series, T2 series, and different permutation combination use case like generally daily day-to-day computation. You can go it's like a low traffic web server or back office server, a centralized microservice. As microservices, generally we are developing application for microservices. This E2 series is very put because they have a very lower cost day-to-day computing. Okay, you have to check out what kind of like if you have a optimized workload, maybe you have a Z3 series where you have some file server, flash server, scale out in this kind of application. Similarly, maybe H3 C3 C2 where the you compute around and gaming server, yeah, high performance computing, yeah, media transcoding, AI ML. So those might be you can go with this kind of series. Memory optimize again, they have a different kind of use cases in memory database like Redis server, simulation, MySQL server, this server, so where you can go with a memory optimize or somewhere accelerator optimize A3, A2, G2. They have different kind of use whenever you are going to run a generative AI kind of things. So for GNAI, we need to kind of very accelerated kind of machine. So where you want to learn the LLM large model or diffusion model, yeah, generative advanced kind of networks. For those scenario you have to select this the accelerated optimized. So you can say different lots of use cases scenario application they mention. We have to just read out and understand what my our case. And similarly whenever you are going to choosing machine types, there are lots of architecture, maybe x86 ARM architecture. So sometime you are building some embedded system kind of applications where you need some specific kind of architectures, hardware architecture here I'm talking. So where we can go x86. These are the machines which are this architecture, and each architecture have a some pre key value where you can to show. Similarly, we have a different kind of architecture, ARM architecture. We have a different kind of CPU algorithm, the instruction processing computing. So these are the some different option you have. Surely very because Google Cloud is the public, they offer lots of machine type services. So just go to detail out here. Notice all the list available here for like C4, C through all other series, and what are kind of CPU types, means what kind of this the Intel base, ARM base, Intel, lots of hardware bases. Some application very specific design, the specific hardware, the hardware, this kind of a architecture we need. Okay, so lots of series here available like M2, G2, and all what kind of, there are lots of some Intel based architecture, some have a AMD based architecture, some have a MP based architecture, ultra architecture, some different architecture. So they support, you can say, just you have to choose what kind of a requirement we have. And we have to also in this what the architecture, the number of CPU and memory, what the memory you want to use. And similarly extended memory, you can extend some more memory after the created VM or not, some supported, some not supported. Sole tenancy means you want to machine that are isolated whenever you're creating the virtual machine, we have option sole tenancy, in that you want to make isolated machines for your specific use case. So some hardware support, some series support, some cannot support. Similarly, we have to lots of custom type machine where you can custom type machine supported, for which custom type machine not supported. So this list contain everything where which are supported, which are not supported, right? Lots of key parameter here they you can consider, like again what kind of storage you are going to associate, local SSD, standard, balance. So lots of things here. Just visit this website, and while creating what kind of machine type you have to select, where select. And if you are creating the Windows machine, Linux machine, and different operating system, some operating system have different kind of a hardware requirement. So be carefully, just read out these all the machine family and the detailed series, which CPU, hardware, architecture, type, storage, RAM, permutation combination. I have to accordingly decide your understand the pricing model as well as. But you can say this Google Cloud offer very exhaustive a different almost any kind of applications you want to want to run, build, deployed on the cloud. So Google Cloud offer variety of wide range of machine family or machine types. And even you want to customize, they support the custom type as well as. So for more detail, just refer this official document, Google document, and you can read all type of message. If you go anywhere, they put out again all the list detail. If you go to the here general purpose or storage or compute instances, go to the here and they can give the whole details what kind of this machine is and what kind of series this is the machine, and what are the series, what are the workload, where it is very fit, and what are the details, and everything you can find here, very big details, ratio, everything, combination type available, and the list available, and what the series means, what the, and here the different combinations as well as default what they have a engaged, right? Now the whole details you can find here, very big details, right? So hope this information is a little bit give you the idea whenever you are going to the create virtual machines or server on the Google Cloud or any cloud provider. You have to be carefully choose your machine type. Depend upon the machine type, your application behave, your customer get the experience, okay. And you have to also consider the pricing model, because you are going to get the very best machine, high CPU, high RAM, high storage, and you have to pay very high cost. So you always be considered whatever the services you are getting from the Google cloud provider, and what kind of the what the ratio of the price you have to pay. Cost is a very key important in the cloud computing, because let's you are deploying some applications on the cloud. So you know my application is going to serve customer for not just 1 day 2 day. You're not going to just doing POC or testing. You are going to deploy application forever, maybe 1 year, 2 year, 10 year, 15 year. So till the times your application is running and you just sending a request, Google Cloud going to serve your request. You have to pay charge. So you have to forecast your pricing of the not just 1 year, 2 year, 5 year, 10 year. You have to some forecast our application can be exist in a 5 to 10 year. So what the cost we have to pay accordingly. Today we have to be carefully choose the machine types and the pricing model, and you have to. So the good option whenever you are going to deploying your application on the Google Cloud also the discounted price. If you have decided, hey, my machine is going for, I'm going to use server for the 3 year, 5 year, 10 year. So Google have a very different discount policy. Okay, there are different kind of standard machines, spot machines, primitive machines, and they have a very reduce a discounted price as well. As so good options if you are going to choose the machine for your software and you are decided for 3 year, 5 year or 10 year. So Google offer very good discount, so we have to get those benefits, discounted benefit, because you have decided to move your software or applications or the cloud. Then you can be carefully forecast your timing, and as per the timing committed period you can get better discount from the Google Cloud platform. Okay, this information might be helpful for you. Thank you.